Nebraska recruiting has been heating up recently, with the Huskers hosting multiple 4 and 5-star prospects on campus this weekend. But I've been getting one question more than any other. Where do the Huskers stand with Chase Loftin? So in today's video, I'm going to give you an update around that 4-star tight end. Where do the Huskers really stand? How is his pledge with Florida State working out? And everything else in between. So really quick, we have a lot to talk about in today's video. Make sure to hit that like button if you're fired up about Saturday. I know I am. And hey, if you're new to the channel or just a returning viewer, make sure to subscribe. I post daily Nebraska football content and recruiting updates just like this. So if you don't want to miss out on anything, hit that subscribe button. It would help me out greatly. But without further ado, let's get into it, talking about Chase Loftin and his recruiting situation. So of course, we know that he is the number 2 player in the state of Nebraska, listed as a 4-star tight end out of Millard South, a guy who's super dynamic, a vertical threat. And the Huskers were after him very, very hard throughout 2024. But he made it official that he is going to be committing to Florida State in July. However, we've seen what Florida State has done on the field over the last 2 weeks, of course, losing to Georgia Tech in Ireland and then losing to Boston College on Monday night. And a lot of people are asking me, Wilson, is there a possibility that Nebraska can flip Chase Loftin? So I'm going to give you one scenario where, yes, it does happen, and then the more likely scenario in which I believe it does not happen. So here's the scenario in which Chase Loftin decommits from Florida State and commits to Nebraska, because that's really the only other option. If you were to decommit from Florida State, I think it would be a 2-horse race: Nebraska or Kansas State, maybe Texas A&M. So listen, I think he always wanted to be close to home. He likes Nebraska. He likes the state. He really likes Matt Rhule. And for that reason, we know that Matt Rhule's done a really good job flipping these guys because he stays in constant communication. So I think that's definitely still happening here in this Chase Loftin situation. And if you were to flip to Nebraska, that would be the primary driver. But that's just about it. I actually don't believe that he's going to flip to Nebraska, because the Huskers, they feel very good about Bear Tenney, their current tight end commit. I don't believe they're going to get more than one. They've stacked up on tight ends the last couple classes. So to that point, I'd say I really don't believe that Nebraska is going to flip Chase Loftin. However, I think he probably does decommit from Florida State, because there are some other schools that were going after him very hard. Kansas State was in that recruiting process since the get-go. Texas A&M was after him. Mizzou was after him. So Chase Loftin, I would say he's one of those guys that isn't necessarily in love with the idea of staying home. There's a lot of in-state prospects who they've grown up rooting for Nebraska their entire life, and they want to stay inside the state. Chase Loftin's not necessarily in that camp. Okay, he wouldn't mind going outside of the state to play college ball. So for that reason, whether or not he decommits, we'll see. But even if he does, I wouldn't necessarily say Nebraska lands him. I think Kansas State probably would be the odds-on favorite, backed up by Texas A&M. But I'm okay with that. Chase Loftin's a good prospect. He's good. I wouldn't say he's great. I wouldn't say he's one of the best we've seen from Nebraska. I'm perfectly fine with Bear Tenney. I think Bear Tenney's just as good. And I think Isaac Jensen in next year's class will be probably better than Chase Loftin. So I'm not like over the moon, or I'm not over the moon if we land him. I'm not super sad if we don't land him. But that's just my opinion. I don't think we're probably going to get Chase Loftin. I think you should be perfectly fine with this recruiting class as it is, especially if we can flip guys like Dawson Merritt and get Michael Terry as well. But all right, let me know down below. What do you think's going on in that Chase Loftin situation? Do you think Nebraska can flip him? Let me know in the comment section. And hey, if you made this far in the video, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe. And as always, folks, go Husker, go Matt Rhule, and see you in the next one.